Now that's a very comprehensive report which lays out the work that Mo Dhaliwal does, his connections with politicians who publicly have spoken in favor of the Khalistani movement and very clearly have interests which are very different from the interests of India's national interest. Now there, Supriya Srinath, is the point that people like you need to reflect on, because that Mo Dhaliwal says that these farmer protests are just the start. Even if the bills are repealed, we will continue our protests because our real agenda is Khalistan. And the likes of Disha Ravi were in touch with characters like Mo Dhaliwal, and therefore Sambit Patra argues it's only legitimate to investigate how deep this connection runs.
Before I answer what I need to reflect upon, there was something said by the BJP spokesperson. He said sedition charges are not leveled against Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi for criticizing the government. It gives you a sense of how they think, that even opposition in this country, it gives you a sense of how much they respect democracy and dissent and disagreement. The thought crosses his mind that sedition charges can well be leveled against India's opposition leaders for holding the government accountable. I want to first set that record straight. As far as Mo Dhaliwal is concerned, and I'm deeply concerned about some of what he has said, I hold no brief for him. In fact, I believe, why is the government and why has his organization, whatever Poetic Justice Foundation, whatever it is, has not been banned? What was the government waiting for? Why has the government not got in touch with Justin Trudeau for his extradition? Why is the government, if Greta Thunberg is indeed involved in this whole controversy, not gotten in touch with the Swedish authorities? I mean, these are questions that one needs to ponder over. Disha Ravi, according to this government, is a very small cog in the wheel. The bigger conspiracy against India is exploding somewhere else. Why are we not going after all these people?
Sambit Patra, if Mo Dhaliwal is the real culprit and the mastermind, what have you done so far to extradite him?
First and foremost, let me call out what the Congress spokesperson said, that I wanted to have sedition cases against Rahul and Priyanka. Of course not. I was just calling out her lies when she said that anyone and everyone who speak against Modi ji or this government have a sedition case slapped against them. I said no, this is absolutely wrong. There is no sedition case against these leaders, despite the fact that since day one they have been speaking against this government. So please get the record straight, number one. Number two, as far as extradition is concerned, well, we will do that whenever it's required. Don't you worry about that. But you were defending Mo Dhaliwal, you were retweeting Greta Thunberg, you were retweeting Rihanna, and today suddenly you want the extradition of Rihanna, Greta Thunberg and Mo Dhaliwal. I mean, astonishing. The Congress Party's greatest spokespersons, Randeep Surjewala, etc., were retweeting Rihanna. And today they want Rihanna to be complained about. I mean, this is an irony. The question is, if there are powers, well, yes, in Canada there are powers, an umpteen number of times, this government has spoken to the Canadian authority. Remember, during the time Justin Trudeau visited India, Modi ji had raised the issue. Even Canadian authorities were rebuked when they took up the issue of the farmers' agitation in India. And well, yes, whatever is required for the sovereignty of this country would be done. But why to place your gun on the shoulders of Mo Dhaliwal and the likes and fire on the Indian government?
Do you not find some of Mo Dhaliwal's statements very disturbing? He's saying that no, Supriya, you can't. No, sorry, Supriya, you've been a TV anchor in the past, as is Ashutosh. If he starts doing the same thing that you're doing, we'll never have a conversation. You've had a say. You must wait your turn. Let Ashutosh speak. I will come back to you. I'm not being unfair. In fact, you're the one who's being unfair. Just hold your turn. I promise to come back to you. Ashutosh, a lot of what Mo Dhaliwal says, his agenda is disturbing. He's talking about how even if the bills are repealed, he'll continue because the real agenda is Khalistan. If Disha Ravi is in touch with people like that, if the agitation and these protests are being planned in concert, then surely that is something the police and the government must probe. Ashutosh.
See, Rahul, you are perfectly all right. Whatever Mo Dhaliwal is saying, it is disturbing, it is problematic, there is no doubt about it. Who is defending Mo Dhaliwal? Nobody is defending. My point is, there is a lot of contradiction in what the government is trying to say or the narrative they want to build. If Mo Dhaliwal is doing such great things, according to Sambit Patra, and I also believe, why the government has not acted upon for so long? This is the government which think that they are very, very protective about the national interests. They are fighting with all those anti-national elements. The issue is, where is that one complaint in any thana in this country? If there is no complaint, how can you ask Interpol to issue a red cordon notice against him? How can you talk to the Canadian government for the extradition? If the government of India is so concerned about this man, these legal action has to be taken, but it has not been taken. What does it mean? Either the government doesn't take Mo Dhaliwal's statement seriously, or the government has another alternative narrative to discredit the farmers' movement, because all the time they're talking about it. I raised the issue of Rajavana. Rajavana, even the Supreme Court is nudging this Modi government, but the government is not acting upon that.